time has expired. With that, go to the gentleman from New Jersey. Mr. Gottheimer is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Yellen, the average price of childcare in this country is now higher than the average cost of rent. In my home state of New Jersey, the average family pays more than $440 a week in childcare costs. What forms of tax relief are available for hardworking families struggling with these high costs, and what is the Biden administration doing to combat the effects of these rising costs, please?
Well, we certainly have proposed extending the child tax credit, which was immensely helpful, and we're supportive of the legislation that has gone through the House. Would urge action in the Senate that would extend the child child tax credit along with other provisions.
Thank you. And I think it would be great if we could actually get that passed. It would lift 400,000 children above the poverty line. Switching gears a little bit, following on the questions that were just asked, I applaud your recent decision to impose additional sanctions on a shadow banking network that has enabled Iran to fund proxy terror groups, including Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. Holding Iran accountable has been a top priority for me and for many of us, which is why I was proud to help pass the bipartisan Iran-China Energy Sanctions and Chip Acts. Can you elaborate more on these sanctions and additional action the administration is taking to reduce the risk of Iran-funded terrorism against America and our allies?
Well, we've taken a wide array of sanctions actions to try to stop the flow of illicit funds from Iran that funds terrorist groups, the Houthis, Hezbollah, and others. We've worked jointly with other countries to impose we really using every tool that we have to crack down on that, as well as sources of revenue, including oil revenues that enable Iran to have the funds to distribute to these terrorist groups.
Do you think we need to do more to address cooperative sanctions evasion between Iran and our other adversaries, including Russia, China, and Venezuela?
I'm sorry, what specifically do you have in mind?
What are we doing? Are we doing anything there? Is that something that's on your front burner that you're concerned about, the sanctions evasion?
We have taken, we know that there are oil shipments that Iran has, and we've recently taken, we have systematically tried to shut that down and recently taken very significant actions that military groups in Iran have used to support their activities through oil shipments.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, are you familiar with the recent state laws that require banks to provide an explanation with specific reasons for closing or denying an account, including in situations where the decision was related to financial crimes risk?
Yeah.
I'm concerned that these state laws may conflict with federal requirements, especially the obligations that banks have under the federal anti-money laundering laws that prevent terrorists and illicit financing in the U.S. financial systems. I presume you share those concerns?
Well, it's a federal obligation to file suspicious activities reports and comply with the requirements of the Bank Secrecy Act, and that's something that we require and expect all banking organizations to do.
Are you doing anything to address this issue, this conflict here?
Well, I'm certainly stating that it is an obligation of banks and that we would enforce.
Chair, I'd like to enter into the record a bipartisan letter signed by my colleagues on this committee, Representative Gottheimer and Sherman, please.
Without objection.
Thank you. We urge you and your counterparts, the OCC and FinCEN, to look into this issue, please, and act. And I hope, if it's okay, I'd love for our teams to sit down together and talk about actions that we can take.
Be glad to do that.
Thank you so much. In my last 30 seconds, I just want to zoom in on a terror financing issue for just a minute. With respect to Iran, do you agree the IRGC's designation as a specially designated global terrorist organization, as a foreign terrorist organization, should not be lifted until such time that it has demonstrated that it has permanently ceased the conduct for which it was designated in the first place?
I mean, that's something I haven't, the exact requirements I haven't looked into, but that's probably reasonable.
And I'm concerned about that, and of course, looking at the UNRWA employees who participated in October 7th, and I hope you're looking at that as well.
Well, we think that those who were responsible for the atrocities should be held to account.
Thank you. I yield back.